Hello, boys and girls. I'm Miss Alicia, and this is Cooking with Kids. Today, we'll learn 3 different ways to make pizza. Are you in school virtually? Do you only have a half an hour for lunch? Well, you'll be able to make a pizza, eat the pizza, and have dessert, all within the half hour. So let's wash our hands and get ready to make pizza. I'd like to show you a few of the things we'll be using today. The first is just from your silverware drawer. The smaller spoon is called a teaspoon, and the bigger spoon is called a tablespoon. Our pizzas do not require us to have exact measurements. I do have some measuring cups, and yes, you can use them, but also if you don't have them or don't feel like using them, we don't really need them. Finally, we have 3 knives here. The first knife is a bread knife. It has what is called a serrated edge. It's very bumpy, but also very sharp. This is a chef's knife, and this is a paring knife. The knives need parental permission to use them. Some of the things we'll make will need a knife, and some of the things will not need a knife. I'd like to talk about the different kinds of pizza bottoms or pizza crust. First, there's a baguette. And it's basically a long loaf of bread. Have you heard of French bread pizza? That's what we will use to make that. There's an Indian bread out, and it's called naan. And that makes a perfect one-person pizza. And finally, I found these crispy thin pizza rounds. They make a delicious pizza. Next, you'll need pizza sauce and some mozzarella cheese. There's 2 kinds. There's the part skim milk and there's whole milk. I don't find any difference between the 2. And finally, you're going to need pizza toppings. Now you can put any toppings on that you enjoy. Olives, ground meat, green pepper, mushrooms, onions, or pepperoni. The stores have many different kinds of pepperoni, traditional pepperoni, and I found these to be really fun. The pepperoni curls up and makes little cups. You will also need a baking sheet. I have a small baking sheet here. It's called a quarter pan. And I have a larger baking sheet here. And as you can see, I have added foil. This catches any drips from the sauce or from the cheese that might melt over. So it's a good idea to save your pans and line them with foil. This is my long baguette. I have cut it in half. And now I'm going to cut it into quarters. That means 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4 will equal 1 whole baguette. So you don't have to measure, but somewhere in the middle, keep your fingers well away from the knife and cut the bread. Next, you may need an adult's help for this part. You have to turn the bread on its side and then cut through. I have found that this can be very dangerous, so you may want some help with this part. The bread is in a circle shape, and that means it can move on you. So I'm still using the serrated knife and cutting through. Now, if it opens like this, that would be perfectly fine for the pizza, or you continue cutting all the way through. I'm adding one new ingredient that I didn't mention earlier, and that's some olive oil. Olive oil gives the bread just a great taste. If you wish, use your smaller teaspoon, pour a little on, and just drizzle it over the bread. Do the same for the other side. For this French bread pizza, I'm going to use my teaspoon once again and one of my favorite pizza sauces. You only need a spoonful and spread it over the bread. Do the same for the other side. Now, if you like your pizza very saucy, you could always add more. As you can see, I have put my 2 French bread pizzas onto a baking sheet. I am now going to put on some of the mozzarella cheese. Now, as you can see, I am not measuring, but I would say this is about 1/4 cup. If you want to measure, you can. I just like to add it so that it covers the pizza. Do you like plain cheese pizza? Lots of kids do. You could stop right here and bake this pizza. But I think it would be fun to put some of the pepperoni cups on this pizza. And then you'll see how fun they are when they curl up in the oven. Now, please make sure your oven is preheated. That means you turn on the oven and you're going to make it at 450 degrees. This is where you'll also need a grown-up to help if you've never used your oven before. Now I'm going to put these in the oven and immediately turn the oven down to 425 degrees. This French bread pizza has been cooking for 7 minutes. And as you can see, it looks really done. Also, please note that on the pan, the cheese has fallen off and burned the pan, but it's just foil, so that's okay. Remember, when you take your pizza out of the oven, please use oven mitts or at least hot pads because the tray is very hot. Remember, it was at 425 degrees. This looks delicious. We have delicious hot pizza in 7 minutes, and if your lunch period is only 30 minutes, it takes maybe 5 minutes to create it and 7 minutes to cook it. Make sure you let it cool off for just a moment because it is very hot. Boy, I'm getting hungry and can't wait to taste this. This is the very flat pizza round. I just buy the store brand. There are some popular brands out there too. If you wish, you can add, maybe a tablespoon this time. That's the bigger spoon of olive oil. If you don't have olive oil in your house, that's okay. You don't need to do it. Next comes the pizza sauce. Once again, I'm using my tablespoon to make this pizza. Spread it around. If you like more sauce, go right ahead and put more sauce on. I've always liked my pizza with just a little bit of sauce for taste. And finally, we will come to the mozzarella, and we will put on about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of the mozzarella. Once again, I just like to look at the pizza and spread the cheese over it. When it looks really nice and covered, I know that's just about right. Here comes the toppings. Once again, I'm going to use pepperoni, but you may use whatever toppings you wish. Remember we said green peppers, onions, olives, black olives, green olives, depending on if you like them. You can put some ground meat on if you wish, some sausage, or once again, just a plain cheese pizza. Just like the French bread pizza, we will put this in the oven for about 7 to 10 minutes at 450 degrees. As soon as we pop it in the oven, we turn the oven down to 425 degrees. This gives it a good, nice, hot start, and then it's a little bit cooler so it doesn't burn the pizza. This is the pizza round. It's come out very nice. It has a little bit of a brown to the edge, and this was in the oven for about 8 minutes. It's a little bit bigger than the French bread pizza, so I'm going to show you how you can cut it. Now, obviously, you can use a knife or even a pizza wheel, but I have found this tool. It's got a very sharp blade and a handle, and you lay it on the pizza and rock it back and forth, and it makes a very nice cut. Because this is a bigger pizza, I think I'll cut it in 4s. It might be a good pizza to share with someone else. Our last baked pizza will be using the naan bread. You can put olive oil on the bread if you wish, but it's not necessary. I'm using the smaller teaspoon for this one because it is a smaller size pizza. Brush your pizza sauce over this. Now, what if you don't like red sauce? Maybe you might want to use some pesto. Almost to the edge. Next, we'll use mozzarella cheese. And remember, if you don't like mozzarella, you could always try a different kind of cheese. Parmesan sounds very good too. I've sprinkled about a 1/4 cup of the mozzarella. Now remember, you don't have to measure that. You can just place it on your little pizza almost to the edges. And I once again added pepperoni, but you could also add any of the veggies that you like. And our final pizza is the pizza on the naan bread. Boy, it looks pretty delicious. I don't even think I have to cut this one. I bet you thought we were done, but we're not. We need to make dessert. So I have a delicious apple here, and we're going to use the knives. Now, this is, once again, the paring knife. And as you can see, an apple is pretty roly-poly. So a fun trick to do is use your paring knife, all your fingers away from the cutting blade, and cut off a little piece off the side. Now you have a flat piece of apple here. And if you wish, you can use your bigger knife now. It doesn't matter how much you cut off. I'm cutting through sideways. I want to cut about a 1/2 inch of the apple. And as you can see, here's my first piece of apple. As you can see, I have 3 pieces from this apple. And I've taken all the seeds out of the middle where the star is. The other pieces have a few seeds, and we'll take them out now. Next, for our apple pizzas, I'm using some cream cheese. This is the really whipped cream cheese. And just a table knife, not a sharp knife. you can put the cream cheese. Now, what if you don't have cream cheese? If you have some plain yogurt or some vanilla yogurt, that would work too. Now, once again, the fun part. Maybe you would want a little cinnamon sugar. That always goes well with apples. Maybe you would like some raisins. And finally, you can always add some fruit. I have some delicious sweet grapes and some chopped up peaches. Doesn't that look good? We hope you've enjoyed making pizza, cooking with kids. The recipes will be available on the CMPL website. Goodbye for now.